Hey everyone, I'm building an RV garage and I'm using this Rockwool insulation for my 2x6 joist, 16 inches on center. This R23 comfort bat, it's amazing. Yeah, it's just really good stuff. Anyway, I have a tip since I've been putting this in all over my RV garage. So where you've got a lot of wires, like right here, I'm working on this part right here. See how there's a piece right behind it? What you do, or what I do, measuring from here down to the bottom wire, and you come over to your Rockwool, and what I do is I split it in half, or at least see where my wires are coming through. If they're about half or a little bit more width on the backside, you know, I cut it a little wider or whatever. But you can just take a razor blade and score it all the way around, and then what you do is just start peeling. You can start peeling it apart like that, right? And you just peel that layer off. So that's what I've done already. Here's my second piece. Okay, here's my second piece. I've already shoved my first piece up there. I'm doing this one-handed, and so let's take your other piece, you fit it up in there, and you kind of shove it up through. Sorry if this isn't very good. You shove it up through like that. I probably could have cut that a little bit longer, but that piece, see how there's like a little gap right there? Well, that piece I can just peel this up just a little bit, and then that will like fit underneath. So now when you go to put it in there, it'll go in there a lot easier. Oh, I cannot do this one-handed at all. But you also have to cut out for your box. I also have an extra bottom plate right there, so I'll have to cut off like another 1.5 inches on the bottom of this insulation for it to fit better. Otherwise it's going to overlap a little bit too much and then compress and not fit in there as tight. So let me pause that, put it in, and I'll show you what it looks like. So that's about how much I'm going to cut off. And I just use a DeWalt razor blade. Wish my blade was longer, but it kept getting dull. I just cut through. I like to cut all the way to the bottom on the side that I'm cutting or pulling towards. That way it doesn't rip out. And you just go back and forth. And then there you go. There's your piece. Okay, so now I'll shove that in, and I'll get back to you guys. Just a second. For my boxes, I like to cut maybe 1/2 inch shorter than what the box actually is. So I come in at 1/2 inch from the box on the top and the bottom, and then I just cut that little piece out, and then I only cut maybe 3/4 of what the box size is, and I pull that piece out. So I'll show you what that looks like in a sec. Alright, so there's the piece I cut out. It was a little wider than I probably should have went. But this is what it looks like. If you push in the middle, it'll kind of make those outside parts line up better. So that's what it looks like. Fits in there nice, tight. I've got a little bit of a gap right there, so you can just take a little bit of your scrap piece, and you can either cut it, whatever, so it fits in there nice and tight, uniform. One-handed, it's not easy. So just cut a little piece like that, kind of pull it apart. Oops, sorry. There you go. So pretty good. The gap looks bigger on the phone than it does in real life. It's kind of weird. It's like the shadows are like showing up really well. But it's not that deep. Anyway, that's how I get around all these electrical wires, and it just makes it a whole lot faster or whatever. I was cutting channels at first, but just peeling it apart and sliding it up underneath those wires is a whole lot easier. Now when I get to this, like I just peeled that whole thing apart, and I shoved one piece behind it, and then I put the other one on top. And it's got a little bit of a bulge, but when you put the sheetrock on and stuff like that, like I can push on that pretty easily, and it just goes flat. So there's a tip for how to install Rockwool insulation in 2x6 studs. Thanks again, and have a good one.